All right, to check the diagnostics for any of these products, you're going to want to go to Products, Diagnostics, and then you'll see all the issues here or affected items. And you want to click here, Download, to see the actual item IDs, or you can view examples if you have over the 50. And you can see the item IDs in example products, so that when you actually find the item ID, you can check Shopify to actually pinpoint it and update the product data there. So you're going to want to go to your Shopify account, go to your Google channel. Then you're going to want to go to Manage Availability. Then you're going to want to see the Availability to Google tab and make sure this is checked off. Go to your Shopify account, click Customize Store under Apps. Then type in Smart SEO. And then you just click Add App to your Shopify account, and this will automatically add JSON structured data so that Google can actually read all your products. Go to your Shopify account, click Customize Store under Apps. Then type in Smart SEO. And then you just click Add App to your Shopify account, and this will automatically add JSON structured data so that Google can actually read all your products. So to add missing shipping information, you want to go to the tools on the top right here, go to shippings and return. Then you're not going to see any shipping services here, so you have to click Add Shipping Service, name it, and then essentially go through the process of adding the name. So it could be example, could be test, shipping service, wherever you're going from, delivery location, the customer's address, and then you choose this, or you choose a range of delivery times depending on how the back end of your store and your actual shipping services are. You can also see different holiday cutoff times or delivery times depending on your specific business. All right, so for account level shipping services for the missing shipping attribute, you got to go to the top right here under tools and settings, click shipping and returns, and you're going to want to add a new shipping service. Put the actual service name, in this case will be test, select the area, customer address, and fill out this since you're missing it at the account level. Put the actual ranges and times that your business actually ships out, or if you use one of these service providers, you can add that, what your average fulfillment time is, and any holiday cutoffs here, and you just go through that process. All right, for the missing shipping weight attribute, when it's at the item level, you need to go to your products, check the diagnostics tabs, and actually see and export like you would with any other diagnostic what the actual problem is, so you can find the item IDs. And then you're going to want to go to feeds and then add a supplemental feed. In this case, you just call it for supplemental, then continue. And then you want to generate from a template, and then create feed. And then from here, you want to open the feed. And you're going to need to add the item ID that you found in the diagnostics. So in this example, I'll just use 1 as my item ID. Then you're going to need to add a shipping label. And you're going to need to add shipping. And then for the shipping label attributes, it could be something like oversized, perishable, or free shipping. So in this case, we'll just name it oversized. And for the actual shipping data here, you're going to need to put country code, country, postal code, minimum price handling time, max price handling time, and minimum transit time. So just to refer back to the Google shipping label documents here, this is what it would look like in a text feed for oversized shipping. And this is what it would look like essentially in the text feed for your actual country code. And you can see you actually put the country, region, service, price. And this is all specific to your actual country. So you can see like the possible values you can add as well. If you use an XML feed, that's what you do. Specifically for Shopify, this would be for like specific items that are just super oversized or high ticket that you'd want to add a specific label for a single ID if you're getting disapproved for your settings not being like that in the back end. All right, for a missing value tax, you're going to want to go to your products, see the diagnostics as well, get the item ID of the product that has the problem, then go to feeds. You want to click open to your supplemental feed. Then once you get to the supplemental feed, you're going to want to get the item ID of the issued product. And in this case, you want to put for tax data here, it needs to be your country, postal code, and then tax rate. So this would be an example. If a specific item here is like a washing machine and the tax was slightly different for whatever reason for the specific product, and you'd put the shipping, where it's coming from, if it's the US or Canada or wherever, the postal code where it's shipping from, and then the rate, which would be $8.75 here in this example. When you have limited performance due to the GTIN or unique identifiers missing, you want to see what product that is by checking the Diagnostic tabs, downloading and finding those IDs, then going to your feed and opening up the supplemental feed. And in this example, we have item ID 1, which is the problem product. And you can see here it was missing the MPN brand and GTIN. So we essentially grabbed the MPN, which is typically the SKU for your Shopify store, your brand, which can be your store brand if there is no brand for that specific product that was already imported. And then the GTIN is the UPC. And if there is no GTIN or UPC code, you can just use the MPN and brand. That will be fine. But you essentially want to get as many attributes as possible because the GTIN will tell Google exactly what this product is. Another way to do this in the back end of your Shopify, if you don't want to use a supplemental feed, is going to your Google channel and going to managing availability and making sure that all these fields are there, whether it's the title, SKU, and all these other unique identifiers, so that Google can know exactly what this product is about. So Google product category as well will be very helpful, adding the MPN here in making sure that all this stuff is essentially showing up for Google. So the MPN can essentially typically be the SKU, so you can just double it up here so that that shows, and the brand should automatically be being imported for your Shopify brand for that product. All right, when you have a missing or incorrect required attribute for price, you're going to see what products were actually getting that error by grabbing the item ID by downloading here. Then once you have that item ID, you're going to want to open up a supplemental feed. Once that feed's opened, you're going to want to put the item ID here. And in this case, we can see we have a price here that's $6 for the supplemental feed. But if you look at the actual product page, it's $5.90. So I want to make sure that's updated so that they're the same. And then once we resubmit this, Google should approve the product and we should be good to go. All right, if you're seeing a mismatched price on page crawl, you'll see that in the Diagnostics tabs under Products. You want to download this and grab the item ID of the actual product. And then you want to go to the feeds and open up a supplemental feed here. Then you're going to go to your supplemental feed and you want to make sure that this price or this price. So for the sales price, you want to make sure these are the same. Depending on what you're using in your structured data in the effective sales date. And you can check your structured data if you're using an app like Smart SEO. So you can basically tell Google exactly and update the data in here using an app like this. So that when it does crawl, we won't get that price crawl error. And you'll want to see the item ID in this actual app and make sure that matches the actual sales price or price when Google's crawling on a page crawl. When you have an invalid category for price, You want to go to products, the diagnostics, grab the item ID, then open up the supplemental feed here, open that up, come over here, and you'll see you can update the product category depending on what it is. In this case, this could be like glasses. So what you want to do is go to Google and find the product taxonomy here, and you want to control F and find glasses or whatever your product is. And you can just grab this or the actual number. Go back to your supplemental feed and paste that in, and you should be all set. Then you essentially just want to have the feed, make sure the feed gets refetched. So you just want to click on this and then click fetch now, and it will refetch. All right, so when you have an invalid price format sales price, essentially you're going to want to go to your Google Merchant Center, find the item ID of the product that has the specific issue. Then you're going to want to open up a supplemental feed. Within this feed, you want to have the item ID that you're targeting here, and the sales price needs to be in the actual price that's matching the sale that you essentially want. It can't have like a dollar sign. It has to be USD or whatever your currency is. And then the effective sales date has to be in this format with the year, month, and then the time that'll be having, and the end date here. And you can do this on a product by product level, or you can even do it within promotions in Google Merchant Center. This is what I typically prefer to do it as, is within promotions tab, adding the promotion, and then selecting the country, language, then whatever the specific amount is off, you can just put like $5 in this case. If you have a minimum, you have a minimum, and then they'll put the actual date ranges, and then pick the actual item. So you can filter it based off of item ID and put in your item ID and save it and add the title and everything. I prefer to do it like this, but if you have a specific setup and you want to do it through here, that's where the error is coming from. All right, when your description is too short or you get this error, you want to check your Google Merchant Center, see products, diagnostics, and you want to grab the actual item ID of the product. You want to go to your supplemental feed and open that up. Then you go to supplemental feed, you open it, and once you have the item ID, you're going to want to update the description to be at least 500 to 1,000 characters, and you can pull that from your website or add more. As you can see here, Google recommends 500 to 1,000 characters up to, and it can be as big as 5,000. You want to make sure there's no follows grammar rules, there's no punctuation errors. And then once you update that in your supplemental feed, you can just refetch it within feeds here. When you click supplemental feed and click fetch now. All right, when you have a promotional overlay on image, the way you can fix this is a couple different ways. So you want to go to your Google Merchant Center account, go to products, diagnostics, and get the actual item ID that's being affected. And what you can do is go to feeds and open up a supplemental feed here, where you can add a new image link, or you can go directly to Shopify, go to your products, and swap from the one with the promotional overlay and switch to the one without, or you can just edit the image that has a promotional overlay, which shouldn't really necessarily use unless it's your actual branding. All right, Sure. So when you're missing additional product data like gender, color, age, group, and size, you can see the errors in your feed by going to Diagnostics, downloading the error and grabbing the item IDs. And then once you grab the item IDs, a quick way to fix this is going to your feeds, opening up the supplemental feed, which is in here, and you want to add the item IDs for whatever is here, and then assign them appropriately depending on what type of product this is. And usually this is for apparel. So in this case, item ID 1. So we have age group, and this is to define what this is actually for. So you can see in Google support documents, 0 to 3 months years old is for newborn, 3 to 12 is infant, toddler, and then so forth and so forth. And in this case, I put infant for color. So you don't want to put any crazy colors. You want to only put Google to find colors. So you can see here, there's a bunch of different types of product or color types that you can use. So unique color names here, they give you kind of a bunch of different examples like nightfall, and you want to just add more standard like blue, red, black, blue. And they have some other unique types of colors that you can use here, but you want to make sure that you're following what Google says. In here, gender is either male, female, or unisex, and size is based on the actual size. So you can use extra large, small, or medium as the values. And you want this to be unique for each variant.